Ohio is one strong state. No, I'm not just talking about my muscles. I'm talking about the cities here that melt and form some of the toughest materials used in buildings: iron and steel. Steel is an alloy. An alloy is a mixture of metals, and in this case, steel is made mostly of iron. It's used to make everything from cars to cords. Before we knew how to mix steel, iron was one of the strongest materials. Ohio made iron way back in 1802, before the Civil War. That's when the state's first blast furnace opened near Youngstown. It doesn't look like much now, but by burning coal and blasting it with air, the furnace was able to get so hot that it would melt the iron into a liquid, which was then formed into machines and tools. The first furnace created, on average, 2 tons of iron per day. After the Civil War, iron manufacturers came up with a new way to process iron, which resulted in the creation of steel. Ohio cities grew with smokestacks and factories. By the late 1800s, Ohio was the second largest producer of steel in the country. It became an identity for the people living in steel towns.
This is my hometown. It's called Youngstown, and it's in the state of Ohio near the Pennsylvania boundary. In Youngstown, we make steel. We make steel and talk steel. Look down any street in town, and you'll see the mills at the end of it. There are 25 miles of them along the Mahoning River.
Workers at the steel mills begin with iron ore, which looks like dirt, and melt it in the blast furnace. When the iron is hot enough, they mix it with the scrap metals and the other alloys to make it into strong steel. The furnaces reach around 3,000 degrees, so you can imagine it was a dangerous and sweaty job. After they check the steel to ensure it was mixed right, they press it into sheets. From there, the steel is used by other factories to make everything from bridges to small spoons, giant skyscrapers, and automobiles. The steel industry's peak years were during World War II, from 1941 through 1945. The American steel industry produced 427 million tons of steel. Much of this was used to make military items. But the industry could not stay strong forever. As other countries figured out how to make steel cheaper, factories here began to close. In 1977, one of the largest employers, Youngstown Sheet and Tube, closed a large part of their operations. 5,000 people lost their jobs on the day they called Black Monday. And from there, the rest of the factories began to close. While the steel industry in Ohio may not dominate as it once did, it remains a resilient and adaptive force. With a focus on innovation, environmental sustainability, and community, Ohio's steel manufacturing is forging a strong path into the future.